morning, everyone. Welcome to What's Cooking at Raymond. Today we're going to do spices and herbs. What a wonderful thing to have around us. You can grow them around your house and have them just as plants, and they smell wonderful, or you could use them in your foods. There has to be at least over 80 different herbs out there, and I've only touched on a few that we use around here, and maybe you use in your home as well. Some of the herbs that we have here on the table today, which I'll discuss and go through a little bit, are basil. Now basil, a lot of people use it to make pesto. A lot of people use it in decorating. It's a decorative plant as well. This is the small leaf basil. A lot of people use the big flat leaf basil when they do pesto, but there is different variations of basil. There's purple basil. This is the Greek spice basil, which a lot of Greeks like to grow, and it's very, very aromatic. And every Greek household has to have a basil plant. It's legendary. And then over here we have this wonderful little plant, which I love. If you love chocolate and you love mint, this plant is a chocolate mint, and it actually smells like chocolate mint. You rub the leaves and it's like, oh wow, it's like an Andes Candies bar right there. And I'm gonna try to grow this in my house and keep it going during the winter time. See, the thing with spices is, and herbs, is they do well outside, but in the winter time, not so much. So you could try to grow them inside the house and keep them going till the summertime again and put them back out. One plant that really surprised me was my oregano plant. This is oregano right here. This is fresh oregano. I was given the plant by my aunt and I planted it in my garden. And I thought, that's it, at the end of the summer it's gonna die off. But every year that oregano plant comes back, and it comes back bigger and bushier. And what I do is I cut it and then I dry it, and I have fresh oregano during the winter time. Dried, but I know where it came from. It came from my garden. Another plant which I tried to grow and I didn't do so well with was dill. And dill, maybe you have used dill or you've tasted dill. You know those dill pickles that you get in the grocery store? This is one of the spices they use inside to make the dill pickle. And they say that dill pickle is very good for digestion. It helps in digestion. It's one of those herbs that helps. Another herb that I grow is rosemary. Rosemary, again, you can grow that in your house during the wintertime and then transplant it outside or keep it in a pot. Some of these herbs do well in the ground, or just keep them in a pot. And they're very decorative, and it's easy. You can go off and clip what you need, dry them off in the summertime for the wintertime use. And over here we have spearmint. You know, like spearmint. You ever taste the spearmint gum? You taste that minty flavor? Well, this is the spearmint. And what I do with the spearmint is this plant is all over the garden. Sometimes I have to cut it back because it'll take over the whole garden. Is in the summertime, I cut it down and we take and we tie it up. It's a big bushels of this, and it dries, the leaves. And when the leaves dry, they look like this. These are the dried spearmint leaves. And then we just crush them a little bit, and then we put them in little spice jars. And then during the wintertime, we use this in cooking. It's used a lot in a lot of the meat dishes and vegetable dishes. You could use this kind of spearmint, but a little bit at a time, because it's a very strong plant and a very strong herb. Now, a couple of other herbs over here that we have that has been used in different type of ethnic and different kinds of foods is parsley. Now, there's curly leaf and flat leaf parsley. Parsley, you can find that in your grocery store. A lot of people cook with parsley. Flat leaf parsley is actually one of the better types of parsley to use in cooking. The curly parsley is used more in decorative dishes. And over here we have cilantro. Cilantro is a very versatile herb. Cilantro is one of those that is an herb and a spice. Let me tell you a little difference between an herb and a spice. An herb is a leafy plant. A spice is the seed, the bark of the inside of the plant. With the cilantro, you get both the leaf and you also get the seed, coriander. That comes from the cilantro. So you get two with this. You get an herb and a spice from this. Now, if we look over here, we have some dried spices. Now here's basil, dried basil. This is what it looks like. This is the plant, and this is what it looks like when you dry it. And over here, we have rosemary. When we dry it out, it looks a lot different than it does here. Sprinkle some rosemary there. You can still see the little plants right there. but this is what it looks like when it's dried out. Now, rosemary is one of those you could use on meat or vegetables. Some of these spices do better with one or the other. Some of them are very versatile. For instance, this other spice that I'm going to show you is called cumin. Cumin is used a lot in Mideastern and Mediterranean food. It's used a lot to marinate meats, especially lamb, chicken, beef. So this is a very good meat type of herb. Whereas rosemary can be used in both meats and vegetables, and basil can be used in your sauces, pesto, spaghetti sauce. Then you have bay leaf. Bay leaves are very good too. A little story about bay leaves. They grow like a bush. Beautiful, hardy green leaves. A long time ago, hundreds of years ago, what they used to take is they used to make wreaths out of bay leaves, and they used to put them on the winners of athletes who won in sports. It was not uncommon to have a laurel leaf placed on your head for being a good sports person. Now today we use a lot of bay leaves inside of our sauces, especially if you're making spaghetti sauce. A lot of people like to put a little bit of bay leaf. Sometimes they come whole, or you could use them crushed like here. And they have a really neat scent as well. And of course we have fennel seed, we have marjoram, and we have sea salts and fennel seeds. This is just a few of the herbs and the spices that we have available. If you go into your grocery store nowadays, you can buy little packets of different types of spices. So if you don't want a big bushel, because if you can't use them all at once, you can buy a little at a time, or even at your farmer's markets you might be able to find them. But the wonderful things you could do with spices and herbs to make your food better tasting, your kitchen and your house smells so nice, especially on a warm winter day when you walk in and you smell all those spices, or on a summer day when you're grilling outside using some of these spices, is actually enhances your food. Not only are spices and herbs good for your foods, but they're also good medically, and they're used to treat different types of stomach aches or headaches. Peppermint, I understand, is really good for headaches. So herbs and spices go a long way in helping us enjoy our foods. So from What's Cooking at Raymond, I hope you enjoy some of our herbs and spices. Have a great day.